Hi English literature learners, are you preparing for BGTRB English exam or UGTRB English exam or other competitive English literature examinations? Then this video is for you. Today I have given 25 MCQs on the essay The American Scholar by Ralph Waldo Emerson. BGTRB syllabus la Unit 6 la second section Prose and Fiction section la second essay இருக்கிறது தான் The American Scholar by Ralph Waldo Emerson. BGTRB syllabusல Unit 6 American Literature காணுது. UGTRB syllabusல Unit 5ல first section Prose section அதில் non-detailed studyல second essay இருக்கிறது தான் The American Scholar by Ralph Waldo Emerson. UGC NET examக்கும் இதை நீங்கள் யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். TN set examக்கும் நீங்கள் இந்த MCQஸை யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். Overall, you can use these MCQs for BGTRB English exam, UGTRB English exam and other English literature examinations. Let's dive into today's session. First question. In Emerson's opening fable of The One Man, how does he distinguish between man thinking and a mere thinker? Man thinking represents the whole human intellect in active function, whereas the mere thinker is a degraded specialist. Emerson argues that in a healthy society, the individual acts as man thinking, the whole organism operating intellectually. When society degrades, the individual is reduced to a mere delicate or specialized function, becoming a mere thinker or pedant. Next question. According to Emerson, what is the first and most important influence upon the mind of the scholar? The natural world. Emerson identifies nature as the first influence in time and the first in importance upon the scholar, as both nature and the human mind share a common divine origin and structure. Next question is, how does Emerson characterize the relationship between the ancient maxim, know thyself, and the modern maxim, study nature? They are two expressions of the exact same law. Emerson concludes that because the law of nature and the law of the human mind are identical, know thyself and study nature become one and the same precept. Next question is, what primary danger does Emerson associate with the influence of books on the scholar? They encourage passive idolization of past minds rather than original thought. Emerson warns that books, when used improperly, transform man thinking into a bookworm who worships the thoughts of dead writers instead of generating original truth. Next question is, according to Emerson, what is the single noble function of books when used correctly? To inspire and kindle the scholar's own creative power. Emerson states clearly that the only true obligation to books is to inspire. They are best used when they spur the reader into original active creation. Next question is, what term does Emerson apply to the reader who engages in creative reading? The active soul. Emerson asserts that creative reading belongs to the active soul, which reads past works to spark its own present insight and creative output. Next question is, what role does Emerson assign to action as an influence on the scholar, an essential process that transforms living experience into clear thought? Emerson describes action as essential to the scholar. Without action, thought can never mature into truth or power, as life provides the raw material for intellect. Next question is, Emerson compares rich unripened experience to which natural object before it is converted into thought? Mulberry leaves before turning into silk. Emerson explicitly uses the metaphor that action is like mulberry leaves which are digested and converted by the mind into the fine silk of thought. Next question is, what is the primary duty of the scholar according to Emerson? To develop absolute self-trust and communicate universal truth. Emerson summarizes all duties of the scholar in self-trust, standing firm on inner conviction to act as the world's eye and world's heart. Next question is, Emerson claims that the scholar should serve as what two organs for humanity? The world's eye and the world's heart. Emerson explicitly defined the scholar's office as being the world's eye, perceiving truth, and the world's heart. It means feeling and articulating universal emotion. Next question is, in his critique of contemporary American culture, what does Emerson identify as a major flaw in its intellectual life? Servile reliance on European literary and cultural traditions. Emerson famously critiques America's long intellectual dependence on European models, calling for a distinct self-reliant American culture. Next question is, which specific phrase does Emerson use to describe the European artistic inheritance that Americans have over-imitated? The courtly muses of Europe. Emerson famously declares near the essay's conclusion, "We have listened too long to the courtly muses of Europe." Next question is, what sign of the times does Emerson celebrate as a positive movement in contemporary literature? The focus on the common, the low, and the near in everyday life. Emerson celebrates the romantic shift toward finding poetic meaning in the everyday, the low, and the humble. Example, the street, the household, the farm. Next question is, how does Emerson suggest a scholar must handle public hostility, isolation, and poverty by enduring hardship with self-derived courage and patient confidence? Emerson advises that the scholar must endure neglect, poverty, and hostility by relying on private self-trust and knowing that truth will eventually prevail. Next question is, what happens when a scholar becomes a mere bookworm according to Emerson's taxonomy? The scholar's creative capacity is eclipsed by passive reverence for existing text. When books are idolized, the mind ceases to be man thinking and becomes a passive collector. Collector here is bookworm, placing past authors above present divine intuition. Next question is, Emerson states that genius is always prior to what entity? Dogma. Emerson emphasizes that true original genius precedes all organized systems, institutions, and dogmas that later attempt to codify it. Next question is, what historical figure or poet does Emerson cite as an example of a genius whose followers stand his works into rigid dogmas? Swedenborg. Emerson points to Swedenborg along with Shakespeare as a mind whose transcendent insight was converted by disciples into a narrow dogmatic sect. Next question is, according to Emerson, what is the ultimate source of a scholar's eloquence? Deep, lived life, and authentic physical and moral experience. Emerson asserts that true eloquence comes from life experience. The scholar who has lived deeply speaks with organic authority and power. Next question is, how does Emerson view the relationship between the scholar and the contemporary masses? The scholar must remain indifferent to popular opinion while guiding humanity toward higher principles. The scholar must resist popular delusion, stand independent of the crowd, and raise the masses by speaking timeless truth. Next question is, in Emerson's view, why are colleges and academic institutions often inefficient at producing true scholars? They focus on mechanical drill and traditional routine rather than inspiring active thought. Emerson notes that colleges often aim to create mere recollectors or defenders of old dogmas through mechanical drill rather than fostering original man thinking. Next question is, what philosophical perspective underlies Emerson's belief that the mind is one across all human history? Transcendental idealism. Emerson's transcendental belief in a universal mind, the oversoul, posits that one universal soul animates all human individuals across time. Next question is, when Emerson describes the scholar as standing for the divine in man, what does he mean? The scholar embodies the infinite spiritual possibilities present in every human soul. For Emerson, the divine resides within every individual human mind. The scholar's duty is to manifest this inherent divine potential. Next question is, which of the following best summarizes Emerson's final vision for American scholars at the conclusion of the address? In conclusion, they must walk on their own feet, work with their own hands, and speak their own minds. Emerson concludes with a triumphant declaration that a nation of men will exist for the first time when individuals walk on their own feet, work with their own hands, and speak their own minds. Next question is, why does Emerson believe that the scholar must never be intimidated by popular opinion or social standing? Because popular opinion is constantly changing and lacks eternal foundation. Emerson notes that popular glamour is ephemeral and superficial, whereas the scholar deals with internal laws that outlast temporary public mood. Next question is, what is the key transformation that occurs when living labor is processed by the scholar's mind? Unconscious life is converted into conscious truth. Emerson explicitly describes how raw unthinking action and experience are converted by the reflective intellect into clear conscious universal truth. With this, 25 questions have been completed. If you have any questions regarding English literature, feel free to ask in the comment section. These 25 questions will be helpful for your revision. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, stay tuned to this channel to gain your knowledge of English literature.